Hey everyone, I'm Rachel from Queens Unchained, and I've come on today to talk to you about self belief. I was just doing a live over in my free community group on Facebook and pulling some cards for my lovely members. And I tend to find that when I do these on a Monday morning, there's always a theme, there's always something that comes up that links to all of the different people, and it gives me this, like, there's got to be a deeper message in here for the collective. And today it was really about self-belief, having this like idea to do something, this dream, this vision, and then this fear coming in that keeps us stuck, right? So I really wanted to go a bit deeper into this and really talk about self-belief. And the main thing that comes up is this inner bitch, right? this this thought around how we have all these limiting beliefs and we have all of this stuff going in our mind that keeps us stuck, keeps us playing small, and stops us from really following the dreams that we have and the things that we want to do. And really, all our inner bitch is trying to do is keep us safe. There's things that we've been through, there's things that we have tried before, there's times that we feel like we've failed or that we've not been good enough. There's times when we feel like we've stored evidence to prove that these things that we feel about ourselves is true, that there's all this stuff that we can't do, that we're not capable of, that we're not worthy of, that we don't deserve, that we're not good enough for. And really, all this is our mind showing us that actually we do need to stay safe. We need to stay within our comfort zone, because look at this time, look at that time, and look at all the things. But all that's happening is she's trying to keep us safe. Now, being the queen of analogies, I like to bring in a visual aspect. And when I talk about this, the visual that comes up for me is always, up in my mind, I have this little old lady, and she's all wrapped up in a blanket on an armchair. She's sitting in front of a fire. She's got a cup of tea and she's really cozy and warm. And she really just wants you to stay there with her because it's comfy, right? You've got your jammies on, you're all cozy, you're wrapped up in a blanket in front of the fire, and you're sitting with her. And your dreams and your goals are outside. And every now and again, you go to the door and you go to open the door and step outside. But outside is a snow blizzard. And in that snow blizzard, you can't see. You don't know what's out there. You don't know what the journey's going to entail. You don't know what you're going to come up against. You hope that on the other side of this snowstorm is all the things that you desire. And you're right. But you have to get through it first. And you don't have all the answers. And you're not 100% sure that actually stepping outside is the right thing to do. But you just know that the only way to get to what you want is to go through it, is to figure it out along the way. But she's there to keep you safe. So you go to the door and you go to open the door, and she jumps up. She throws her coffee or her tea. She throws the blanket off. She roars out of the armchair and she comes charging towards you. And sometimes she'll say, "You're not good enough. You don't deserve it. You're not worthy." And she'll say it as it is. But other times she's a little bit more sneaky because she knows that she's got to convince you to stay in the warm. And she might show up and say things more like, "You don't really have the time. Do you have the time to fit that in? Can you afford it? Do you really have the money? Is it the right thing to do to be putting yourself into those different places, or committing to that membership, or signing up to that program, or going live? Oh my God, but what if this happens?" And then she starts throwing all these things at you. But what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if you fail? And how embarrassing would that be? And all of a sudden you feel convinced maybe it isn't, maybe it isn't right for you to step outside. Maybe she's right. You don't have the time to make your way through that snowstorm. You don't have what it takes. You're not going to be good enough. Are you really going to be able to face what's out there when you don't know what that is? Are you sure it's the right step to take? I don't know. Maybe not. And you talk yourself out of it. You close the door and you go and sit back down and you wrap yourself up in your blanket. You stay in your comfort zone. Now, the difference between this and really going for it is self belief. And this is what has come up today. This is what has this is like so big for the collective at the moment. It's come up in my clients, it's come up in so many different places. And today just really shone a spotlight on that, like how much this is a huge thing that stands in everybody's way. Having that self-confidence, having that self-belief, and that trust that stepping outside that door and figuring it out along the way. And you might fall and you might trip and you might stumble and it might be a struggle and it might be a challenge and there might be parts of it that are really difficult. But actually, that's okay. Believing in yourself that you're going to make it through no matter what it looks like, that you are deserving, that you are worthy, that you are enough. And a lot of this comes down to what we see outside of ourselves, to the external, right? And we tend to tell people about our dreams or about our ideas or about the things that we're thinking about doing because we feel like we need somebody to tell us that it's okay, to tell us that we are good enough and we're going to do it and it's the best move to make. And 100% you should do that, because we look for the validation, we look for the acceptance, the acknowledgement and the approval. And really what we need is to have all of those things in ourselves: the self-validation, the self-acceptance, the self-approval, the self-acknowledgement, the self-love. Because when you love, validate, accept, acknowledge, approve, when you have all those things for yourself, that's when you really have self-confidence. And that's when you become unshakable, because it's within you. You're not relying on it externally. You're not relying on it through the forms of a certification or a prize or any form of recognition or somebody else to tell you that it's okay. You're doing it because it's what's right for you. And you believe and trust in yourself so much that you've got this. And that is confidence on another level. That is confidence. And all of those things stand in our way because so many of us seek external validation. But when we can really validate ourselves, when we can really turn that inwards, then it can't be taken away. When we rely on it from outside, it's always a wobbly ground. Is somebody going to approve of this? Is this going to be good enough for somebody else? Is somebody going to say that this is okay? When it's coming from within you, you have nothing to question. You have nothing to stand in your way, because you can say, yeah, this is what I want to do, and that's okay. And I'm going to be good enough for it because I choose to be. And I'm going to love myself even when I fall. And I'm going to validate myself even when it isn't going how I wanted it to or how I would hoped it would. And I'm going to accept myself even when the storm gets rough. And I'm going to acknowledge myself, every part of it, every step of it, because I love me. And that's where self-belief comes from. That's where self-confidence comes from. And that is where the biggest growth in our journey comes from. And that is where the biggest business impacts come from. Because you understand there's no such thing as failure. And even if there is, it's not a bad thing. As failure is just learning, right? You're just putting yourself out there, you're taking the steps, you're making the moves. And if it doesn't go the way that you planned, that's okay. It doesn't mean you failed. It means you learned something. I mean, how many times have you invested in something that didn't turn out the way that you really hoped it would? But I bet you learned a lesson from it. I bet you learned a lesson of what not to invest in next time or what to do better next time. I know I have. I've invested in things that haven't turned out the way that I'd hoped. And I've been able to say, do you know what? I didn't like that experience, but am I going to beat myself up for investing in that situation and not getting what I wanted? No, because what I did get from it is to see how I don't want to work, how I don't want to be. So I know even deeper, even more passionately what I can create and what I'm here to create. And it's not that. I've had failed launches and I could have sat and wallowed in how awful that was and felt like a failure, and I could have given up. But I didn't. I learned, I looked at what I did, I looked at how I done it, I looked at how I could improve it next time. We have to make mistakes. We have to fall along the way. Otherwise, we don't learn how to get back up. The most successful people out there have failed. They've had products that didn't sell. They've had launches that nobody signed up for. Everybody fails because it isn't fails. You're falling forward. Even if you do something and it gets you no results. In fact, ignore that because that isn't true. That can't happen. There is nothing happens that has no results because there's always something. There's always something that you've learned. There's always a part of the experience that is there for a reason and matters to you. Like you've done it for a reason, right? But I mean, say you launch something and it doesn't go how you wanted it to go. That's okay because you can still love, validate, accept, appreciate yourself. What did you learn from it? What can you take from that moving forward? What's the lesson? What's the experience? We have to experience all the things, and we have to learn from it to go bigger, to go bolder. And even if you fall, that's okay because you're still doing a shit ton more than the people that are sitting at home too scared to get up from the armchair, too scared to step out into the blizzard. Like you did that. You took that step, you opened the back door, you stepped out into the snow blizzard, and you fell along the way. That's okay. What matters is whether or not you get back up. And the more you get back up, the more you're going to believe in yourself. The stronger your confidence is going to become. The more you show yourself compassion and love, the more you appreciate and validate yourself, the more you're going to thrive. So I guess what I really wanted this episode to really bring to you is if you're standing in your own way, if you feel like there's something you really want to do, an inner calling, a passion, a desire that you're too scared to follow, something that you want to do, but you're fearing judgment or opinions from others, I guess this is your sign. This is my way of saying, go and fucking do it. Open the door, step out into the blizzard, go for it. Because what have you got to lose? Like, really, what have you got to lose? Because the way I see it is you're fucking going for it. Whatever that looks like, whatever results you get, whatever results you don't get, it doesn't matter. You was strong enough, bold enough, confident enough, powerful enough to open the fucking door and follow what you dream of. Follow your dreams, follow your desires, follow that vision and step out there and see what it's all about. And that in itself deserves a massive well done. And it deserves a pat on the back and it deserves a fucking celebration, no matter what the results, no matter what comes next, because it's part of the journey. It's part of what comes next. And the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing after that. I didn't start my journey talking on a podcast, putting myself out there, going live, launching all the things, talking all the stuff. I didn't start my journey like that. I've fallen, I've fumbled, I've stumbled, and I've got myself up and I've learned from it and I've found the next thing. I created a successful business. Falling over my words now. I created a successful business by doing just that, by learning from my falls, by making the mistakes and seeing how to do it better next time. I learned how to do all sorts of things in that exact way. And that is what you're here to do. And the bottom line, the basis of it comes down to self-belief. Like, do you believe that you're worthy? Do you believe that you really deserve it? Because touching on last week's episode about energy and how it doesn't compartmentalize, if you believe that you are open to receive and you are worthy and deserving of love in your relationship, but then you look at your business and really deep down, you're looking for external validation, you're looking for that acceptance, you're looking for that approval outside of you, and you don't really believe that you're worthy or deserving of the success that you desire, energy doesn't compartmentalize. Energy is energy. If you're not open to receive everywhere, then you're not open to receive anywhere. When you open yourself up to receive the good, the bad, and all the things in the middle, when you say, this is who I am, this is what I want, and I'm going to fall forward and get it, when you give yourself that validation, that acceptance, that approval, and you love yourself anyway, and you stop needing that from everything external and outside of you, you become indestructible. You will open yourself up to more love, to more everything, to more abundance, to more love, to more wealth, to more success. And that's really important because it affects every area of your life. You will have better relationships, you'll have a better business, you'll have better health. Because when we are constantly striving to get everything from the outside, we're suppressing our emotions, we're people pleasing, our boundaries are wonky, it affects everything, right? And that's when disease is created within our body, physically, mentally, spiritually. That's when we block ourselves off. So I guess what I'm trying to say is listen to this today and take it as a sign that one thing, there's always one thing that you've been stopping yourself from doing. Take a deep breath. Feel the fear and tell yourself that it's okay. It's okay to feel the fear. It's okay to feel the fear and do it anyway. And then go and do the thing. Realize that nobody died. It didn't kill you. And actually, it felt really fucking amazing to just do the thing. And whatever results come don't matter because you're detached from the outcome. You're just happy doing the thing. And you're going to keep showing up and you're going to keep doing the thing, whatever the things may be, even if they scare you a bit, even if you're not quite sure, but it feels good. So you're going to do it and you just keep doing the thing. And over time, the impact builds, the confidence builds, and everything else will follow. If you want to grab my free 5 steps to growing your business without the hustle, because who wants hustle, right? Business is about fun and passion and excitement, not working hard and burning yourself out. So if you want my free guide, which also comes with a free video, then I'll drop the link below so that you can get your hands on that. Thank you for tuning in today. Have an amazing day. You're absolutely amazing. You're a fucking queen. Just go out there and do the thing.